It was almost midnight when the hospital lights flickered low and the halls grew quiet. Most of the staff had gone home, but one man stayed behind, a janitor named Henry. He wasn't supposed to be there anymore. His shift had ended hours ago. But something in his heart wouldn't let him leave. Because down the hall, in room 214, an old woman lay awake, her breathing slow and heavy, staring at the ceiling. She had no visitors. No flowers. No one waiting for her. Just the rhythmic hum of machines and the whisper of loneliness, and so Henry stayed. He didn't know that by morning, everything about his life, and hers, was about to change. Hey everyone, before we dive into this powerful story about the kindness that changes lives, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Kindness Action, where we share true stories that remind us of the good still left in the world. Hit like if you believe kindness matters, and leave a comment at the end to tell us what you think, because your words might inspire someone else to do good today. Henry Jenkins worked as a janitor at St. Mary's Hospital, just outside Chicago. He was in his early 60s, with silver hair, tired eyes, and a gentle voice that always carried a bit of calm with it. He wasn't rich. He lived in a small apartment and drove an old pickup that coughed every time he started it. But if you asked anyone in the hospital who made their day a little brighter, they'd say, Henry. He mopped floors, emptied trash, wiped down windows, and somehow still found time to smile at everyone. Morning, Doc. You doing okay, nurse? Hey little man, he'd say to the kids in the pediatric wing. He made people feel seen. And in a hospital, where people were often scared, grieving, or alone, that meant something. One chilly November night, Henry was finishing up his shift. The hallways smelled faintly of disinfectant and coffee. He was humming an old gospel tune when he noticed an elderly woman sitting up in bed near the window of room 214. She looked frail, her eyes watery and distant. Henry had seen her before, Mrs. Wilson. She'd been in the hospital for nearly 2 weeks. Word around was that her husband had passed away last year, and her children lived out of state. No one had visited. He paused at her door, mop in hand. Evenin', ma'am. You doing all right? He asked softly. She gave a faint smile. Oh, I'm fine, dear. Just, hard to sleep when you're all alone, you know? Henry hesitated. He looked down the empty hall. His shift was done. He could go home, heat up leftovers, maybe catch a little TV before bed. But something in her eyes, a quiet sadness that reminded him of his late wife, Mary, made him step inside. He pulled up a chair. Well, how about some company then? Mrs. Wilson chuckled softly. You don't have to do that, young man. I got nowhere better to be tonight, he lied with a grin. For the next hour, they talked. About her garden she used to keep. About Henry's grandkids. About how quiet life can feel when the world keeps moving and you don't. At one point, she coughed, and he held her hand until she caught her breath again. When she grew tired, he hummed a little tune, What a Wonderful World. She closed her eyes and smiled. By midnight, she was asleep. Henry quietly stood up, turned off the light, and whispered, Good night, ma'am. When he stepped into the hallway, the charge nurse, Janet, spotted him. Henry, your shift ended 3 hours ago, she said. He shrugged. Couldn't leave her alone. Janet smiled, shaking her head. You've got the biggest heart in this place. He laughed. Just doing what I'd want someone to do for me. He gathered his things and walked out into the cold. Frost glimmered on the parking lot under the streetlights. As he reached for his truck door, a long black limousine pulled up beside him. Henry blinked. A chauffeur stepped out and said, Mr. Jenkins? Henry froze. Yeah. The lady inside would like a word. Confused, Henry approached the limo. The back window rolled down, and there sat a woman in her 40s, dressed in a sharp navy coat. She smiled warmly. Mr. Jenkins, I'm Mrs. Wilson's daughter, Claire. Henry's eyebrows lifted. Oh. She didn't mention you were in town. I wasn't, Claire said, her voice trembling slightly. I flew in tonight. The nurse told me what you did, how you stayed late to comfort my mother. She said you've been kind to her every day. Henry rubbed the back of his neck, embarrassed. I just kept her company, ma'am. Didn't do much. Claire's eyes glistened. You did more than you know. My mother's been so lonely. You gave her peace. She told me tonight, before I came, that she finally felt cared for again. Henry smiled gently. She's a sweet lady. Reminds me of family I've lost. Claire nodded slowly. Then she reached into her purse and handed him an envelope. Please, take this. It's just a small thank you. He opened it and froze. Inside was a check, for $10,000. Ma'am, I can't take this, he stammered. You can, she said firmly. And you should. My mother wanted to do something good for you. She asked me to. Henry stood there speechless. The cold air puffed around his breath. I just did what anyone should do, he said softly. Claire smiled through tears. That's exactly why you deserve it. The chauffeur opened the door for him. Let us give you a ride home, Mr. Jenkins, he said. Henry looked at his rusty old